Alright, let me show you what I believe is the best way to color grade DJI Osmo 360 D-Log-M footage in Davinci Resolve. So first of all, let me show you my project settings and more specifically my color management settings. I'm using Davinci YRGB as the color science and then Davinci White Gamut Intermediate as the timeline color space. And finally for the output color space, I'm using Rec709 Type A because I'm grading on a MacBook display. Next, I've applied already this simple node tree in here, and this is the bare minimum I would personally use. I'm not going to use any plugins, any paid effects or anything like that. I'm just going to use the built-in tools inside Davinci Resolve. So the first thing I'm going to do is definitely convert my D-Log-M footage to Rec709 just to make it look as normal as possible. And the easiest way to do that is just to go to the official DJI website and to download the official D-Log-M to Rec709 LUT. I've already downloaded the LUT to my computer and I'm going to apply it to this Rec709 node in here. And to do that, I'm just going to go to the LUTs section in here, go to DJI because I put the LUT to this folder, and then select DJI Osmo 360 D-Log-M to Rec709. And as you can see, if I'm going to do a before and after, it just makes the faded looking D-Log-M look more normal with some contrast and saturation basically. All right, next I'm going to add a look LUT and I'm going to use this node in here, which is the Kodak one. And I'm going to use the free LUTs available within Davinci Resolve. I'm going to open the LUT section again, and as you can see in here you have film looks and you can select one of these LUTs in here. They are completely free, but I'm not exactly sure if they are available with the free version. So basically I'm just going to select the Kodak 2383 D65 because that's my favorite one from here, but you can use any one of these really. So let me apply this to the Kodak node, and now as you can see we have an issue. The shot looks off, if you will. It's too saturated, too punchy, too contrasty. Maybe you like something like this, but personally I think it's a bit too much. And the reason for this actually is because this Kodak LUT in here expects a different gamma than gamma 2.4 to be displayed properly on your footage. It expects actually Cineon film log gamma to be displayed properly. So to fix that, I'm actually going to use this node in here, which is a color space transform node, to transform gamma 2.4 to basically Cineon film log. And I'm going to use the color space transform effect to do that. Put it in here, and I'm going to disable tone mapping, go in here, set it to Rec709, then in here gamma 2.4. Here I'm going to use again Rec709, and for the output gamma I'm going to use Cineon film log to make the LUT look normal. So go here and then Cineon film log, click on it, and as you can see right now it looks normal. It looks way better than this, which is a bit too much. If you want to adjust the intensity of this LUT, you can highlight both of these nodes, right click, create compound node, and then go to the key section in here, play with the gain slider to adjust the intensity basically of the look on your footage. I'm gonna set it to like 0.85 for now. Maybe later on I'm going to change it up, but for now I feel like it's going to be okay. All right, so now basically I have a conversion LUT in here and then a look LUT in here, and now I can start doing basic color correction, like adjusting the exposure, white balance, and the overall colors in the shot. So first of all, I feel like this shot is a bit too bright, at least for my liking. So I'm gonna go to the exposure node in here, open the color wheels and use the offset wheel to globally adjust the exposure. As you can see, if I'm gonna go up, it's going to bring up the exposure. If I'm gonna go down, it's going to basically bring down the exposure. So I'm gonna go down slightly, I would say to something like this. Maybe slightly increase the contrast with the contrast slider in here to about something like this. All right, and maybe also play with the highlights slider in here just to preserve or pull down some of the bright parts in the frame. And just to compensate, I'm going to bring back the offset just to make it look more balanced. And I feel like something like this is okay. This is the before and after, before and after. And now I'm going to fix the white balance. I feel like this shot is a bit too red and also too warm. And I'm going to use the balance node in here to do that. And more specifically, I'm going to use the offset wheel again in the color wheels and just take this point and basically adjust, push it around until it looks somewhat okay, to my eyes at least. Let me see. Actually, you know what? Let me close this. Just use the slider in here. Remove the red. Add some blue. And then balance it out with the green. Bring back some blue. And I feel like something like this is totally fine. This is the before and after, before and after. I feel like the exposure is still a bit too hot, so I'm going to slightly bring it down. Something like this. All right, finally, I'm just going to play around with the overall colors in the shot. First of all, I feel like the saturation is a bit too strong, at least for me. So I'm gonna use this saturation node in here, go to the new color slice tool and use this saturation slider to just desaturate the image slightly. Yeah, I'm gonna go to about 0.9. I feel like this is okay. Here's a before and after, before and after. And now I'm just going to play around with these colors, which lets you adjust the exposure, saturation, and hue of each individual color. For example, if I'm going to click in here for the yellow section, it will show you what, colors I'm going to affect in my shot. And if I'm going to play with this slider, it's going to make it darker and brighter. Basically, you can adjust the density of the color with this slider. And in here, you can play around with the saturation. And in here, you can play basically with the hue of the color. So I'm actually going to make the yellow look a bit more green because I feel like it's going to work well with this kind of a shot. Like minus 0.2 going to be fine. Then desaturate this green to about 0.9, I would say. And then add some density just to darken the green a little bit. I would say 0.2 is fine. Let me just look around and see that it looks completely fine. And then I'm also going to do the same thing basically with the green. Just add some density to darken the green colors. Reduce the saturation maybe. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it as is. Maybe actually slightly. I'm gonna pull it down. Let me play with the hue. Maybe actually I'm going to slightly warm it up to about 0.08. Let's do. And I feel like this is okay. And maybe also I'm gonna play with the skin colors in here, which is going to affect the colors on this dragon. So I'm going to add some density to these colors, something like this, and then maybe slightly desaturate these colors and also play with the hue. Yeah, I'm just going to push it slightly towards like yellow. Yeah, something like this. Let me just see that I'm not affecting anything in here in a bad way. Everything looks okay. I just don't like the, the blue magenta colors in here. So maybe I'm going to use the blue section in here and desaturate the blue a little bit because we don't have too much blue in this shot except for in here. I'm just going to desaturate this to about 0.6, increase the density to about 0.15, and maybe play with the color, something like that. Same thing with the magenta. I'm just going to desaturate the magenta and then increase the density, maybe even make it more blue than magenta, just a little bit, something like that. And honestly, I feel like I am done. Maybe I can come back to the exposure node and increase slightly the contrast just to, give it a bit more bite. And this looks fantastic, I think. And also, maybe I'm going to add another node after the Rec709 transform node and go to the sharpen section in here. Open this, blur and sharpen, and then, you can sharpen the image if you want to. I usually set it to about 48, 0.48 or 0.47. Just to show you what it does. Here is a before and after, before and after. I'm actually gonna go to 0.48 and play around with this level in here just to balance it out. Right, and then maybe also play with this. Let's do a before and after. As you can see, there is more bite now to the shot than before. after, before, after. Let me actually reduce it to 0.49, and now let's do before and after, before and after. Yeah, it still does something, but just not as aggressively as before. So yeah, honestly, I think I am done with this shot. And just to recap what I've done to this shot, first of all, I've applied a LUT, which takes me from D-Log-M to Rec709. Then I've applied a look with codec 2383, and then I used also a CST to convert Gamma 2.4 to Cineon film log, which is what you need to use if you use the built-in Davinci Resolve LUTs. Then I adjusted the exposure, then I adjusted the white balance, and then I adjusted the colors, and then I added some sharpness, basically. Alright, so hope you enjoyed this video and found it to be informative. I try to be as simple and bare bones as possible, just so you can replicate the same results when color grading DJI Osmo 360 D-Log-M footage in Davinci Resolve. Thanks for watching.